Okay, good evening, everyone. We're on live. Welcome to tonight's Western Region Town Hall meeting. Appreciate everybody coming out. I think we have a pretty good agenda. We're going to start out with a roll call. I'm Thomas Aceves, the chairman. I'm present. Tim Chiara.
Present.
Linda Alexander. Here. Lisa Benavides.
Here.
David Eby is absent. And Claudine Pedricelli.
Here.
Everybody's good. We're going to set up, do Pledge of Allegiance. Tim, you want to do that?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right. Is the microphone working okay at the podium? Do we have it?
It's not turned on, but it's working.
All right, it needs to be turned on. So we're now going to do minutes. Actually, before that, minutes approval. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Who would like to make a motion to?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Tim, a second by
Linda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up, we're going to do public input. Anyone in the public can come up to the podium. Up to 3 minutes per citizen to provide input on any item that not on the agenda, but within the council's jurisdiction. As Worth Chair, I can extend the time to accommodate item if not appearing on the agenda. Items can be further discussed on a future agenda if the Worth Council decides to add it. We do have a timer, and are you running that then?
Yeah.
All right. State your name and go ahead. Hi, Margot. You gotta turn it on, yeah.
No worries. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Worth, and Assembly. Margot Kambara, Lake County General Plan Advisory Committee representative, speaking for myself. The General Plan Advisory Committee recommended that a comprehensive energy policy be developed as part of the General Plan update. Community Development Department did not accept this recommendation. Meanwhile, others also recommended the addition of a comprehensive energy policy as part of our general plan update. Months ago, the Board of Supervisors formed an ad hoc committee to develop an energy policy. That effort seems to focus on geothermal energy. Lake County needs a comprehensive energy policy that covers various types of energy. A comprehensive energy policy should protect the county's resources and set the terms of resource development. Terms such as permitting requirements, siting, financial and environmental protections. If done right, a comprehensive energy policy can lead to energy sovereignty for Lake County. This can mean lower energy costs. This can mean Lake County generates energy and income from its energy resources. Eastern Region Town Hall authorized its Land Use Committee to draft a letter to the Board of Supervisors on including a comprehensive energy policy to the general plan. Scotts Valley Advisory Council authorized an ad hoc committee to draft a letter to the board on energy policy recommendations. What about Worth? You as a body, or the Assembly as individuals, can let the board know your thoughts about a comprehensive energy policy. At minimum, the updated general plan can have text added pointing to a comprehensive energy policy to be developed after the acceptance of the general plan by the board. Why does this matter? Developers have contacted the county about geothermal development projects. Without a comprehensive energy policy, Lake County can be caught flat-footed. Let's put Lake County's best foot forward and prepare for the future now. Let's get a comprehensive energy policy developed, ideally as part of our general plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Margo.
Who would like to come up and anyone else in the public comment? Oh, we have someone online? Person online or on Zoom, can you state your name?
Yeah, it's a person that they're just titled Zoom user. Would you like to make a comment?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Zoom user, can you state your name and you can make your comment?
Yes, sorry. So my name is Sterling Wellman, and I am speaking tonight as a resident of Lake County in District 3. These comments are my own, and I do not represent the Eastern Regional Town Hall Committee. I want to speak tonight about the urgent need for Lake County to adopt an energy policy and include it in the Lake County 2050 General Plan. With AB 531 and an increasing geothermal development, that the time to act is now. Once projects are approved, it becomes much harder to add protections for our communities and our environment. Lake County is already seeing interest in a large energy project. EGX is working on a proposal in the eastern region that has included discussions of a potential 100 megawatt geothermal power plant. At the same time, data centers are creating more demand for power and are increasingly looking for dedicated energy sources. This means the pressure for energy development in Lake County is growing, not slowing down. Lake County already has a geothermal element in the general plan, but our county has changed, technology has changed, and the state laws have changed. It is time to update the geothermal element by adding a modern energy policy. An energy policy would not stop development. It would help guide development in ways that protects our environment, our water, our communities, and future generations. It could include things like environmental protections, community benefits, energy planning, and making sure local residents benefit from projects built in our county. If funding is the concern, I ask whether AB 1905 geothermal royalty funds could legally be used to help develop an energy policy and update a geothermal element. If those funds are meant to address geothermal impacts, then planning ahead may be one of the best ways to protect future impacts. I also encourage collaboration between WRTH, other regional town halls, and the MAC Alliance so our communities can have a voice in shaping Lake County's future. The decision we make today will affect generations to come. We have a small window of opportunity to put protections in place before more projects move forward. I respectfully ask WRTH to consider the urgency of this issue and discuss bringing recommendations forward to the county. Thank you for your time. And if I have a little more time, as we're watching budgets this week, Lake County is going to start looking at a deficit. So what more better time than to put a energy policy together to where we can start in the future, have a good funding source for our general fund. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. Appreciate it. Anyone else can you go ahead and come up to the podium and state your name? You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, thank you. My name is Maya Lynn, and I've been speaking for mobile home residents and the implementation requesting of a rent stabilization ordinance. I have a letter here to read to you from Sarah, who gave this to me with permission to read tonight. I met her at the Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday, first time that I have met her, and she wasn't aware of everything that we've been doing, unfortunately. So this is what she says. My name is Sarah. I live in Meadow Point Residential Park. That's owned by Harmony. I spoke at the Board of Supervisors meeting yesterday. This is to the supervisors you're writing this to. As you know, last year our base rent was increased by $350 by the park in an effort to, in its own words, get around proposed rent control laws. She purchased her home in 2021. Her rent was $365. Within 9 months, they raised it $250. August of this past year, they sent them a letter to raise it another $350 December 1st. I have been asking for a rent retroactive for January of 2026 and didn't know that hers took place on December 1st. So we're now asking if they can make this retroactive to December 1st for all the people who live in Meadow Point that don't have proper water and also who are being basically extorted and even being able to sell their homes. And another way that is what the park does, they have raised her lot rent again, another $100. And at the same time, what they are doing is they also own homes in their park. So Meadow Point owns homes out there. And the difference between the land rent for her and from what they own is $100 to $200 difference for the lot space. So she can't sell her home. She's gone down 3 times. She keeps trying to sell her house, and the realtors are telling her that it's because of the rent, and they can just go next door and they can buy one of the park owner's house for the same, should be the same lot rent, but it's not. Hers is $150 more expensive. Actually, they're raising hers another $100 when she moves out because they're allowed to do that. So they're raising hers another $100. So she continues to state that I have a newer home in a very good condition. I've lowered my home price 3 times. It is now below market value, yet I have no offers. My realtors told me the only reason they aren't interested is because of the rent. I feel like the way the park conducts business is keeping me trapped here, and my neighbors and I are struggling with constant rent increases. I hope this timeline, which I stated, clarifies why it's important to make the RSO retroactive to December 1st, 2025, because that's when their letter took place, and I was not aware of that. So that's my time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Does anyone else in the public want to come up for 3 minutes? No?
I have comment.
You have one? Okay. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to give a quick update for the Grange. On June 6th, we did have our Summer Days Festival here on Main Street. And I would like, obviously I'm biased, but I think it was a great success. We heard really fantastic things from vendors. We heard a lot of happiness from community members. We had a pretty successful parade. Thank you, Supervisor Crandall, for being our first Grand Marshal. And it's only going to get better from there. So I just want to make sure, we've been talking about it for a couple months. And I think it was really, I heard a lot of people say this is what Upper Lake used to feel like, and that was ultimately the goal, is to bring back that community feel and that vibe. So thank you to everyone. The Grange also raised about $3,000 out of that. That is going to go directly back into the programming that we do for our community. So we just wanted to make sure we shared that information with everyone. And next up, on July 30th, which I believe is a Thursday, July 30th, we will be hosting an open house. So at 9355 Government Street, the members will be bringing in some food as a potluck style, and it'll have some music, and it's just going to be, come meet the Grange members, come look at the hall, and see how you can get involved. So that's July 30th at 9355 Government Street.
What time?
Yeah, great job, everyone. We were, I'm going to comment on this. We were out there at the booth of Western Region Town Hall. Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of work, and you guys did a tremendous amount of it was great work, great job, and a lot of fun. So if you didn't make it this year, definitely be on track for next year. It was a lot of great times.
And I do understand that the rock painting booth was overrun with children. So, Mary, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, it was fun. We should do that every weekend. Just brings everybody over.
The rock painting?
No, the whole summer
Yeah.
days.
Oh, we need more volunteers, and then we can do whatever we want to do.
Great job. I want to do just a short public input on the Featherbed Hotel, which is in our Nice community. I don't know if you're aware, but it was this morning at 1:38. Her property was robbed, her car. I talked to Allie today, who's the owner, with her husband from. They live in Tucson, but they have Sandra Campos, who's the manager. Allie is a fantastic person. First time talking to her ever. She seemed pretty good spirits for someone that had her car robbed and several items taken out. They had 4 perpetrators. They had 2 that were caught. One I saw was in jail still. I didn't know the name of the other person, and they're looking for the others. So Featherbed is a beautiful property. It's a designation point for Nice, and we need something like that to continue to be strong. And she seems to be continuing to do. She has a lot of events coming up, and I think they're trying to. I think Deb Clark from she reached out to her and other business owners to try to come up maybe some solutions to try to figure out what to do with all these people running around in the middle of the night. Where we started the Nice Neighborhood Watch, and that might be one solution. The positive note, real quickly, is that CBS is coming out there tomorrow with one of their shows called Staycation, and they're going to do a whole a whole program for her. So they're going to get her on the map and continue to bring and drive people and drive our economy and develop our economy in Little Nice. And Featherbed is one of the prime examples of doing that. So her name's Allie, and she seems like a really cool person with her husband. And that place is a really cool place. So anyway, I wanted to update you on that. And that was it on that. So we're going to go to announcements.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah, you want to go?
Oh, yeah, I have just a brief announcement. On Thursday, the 25th, the Upper Lake Senior Center will have a person that will be instructing gentle seated yoga. So yoga is from 11 to 12, and on the 25th, we're really happy to have somebody come and do that, because we've been doing YouTubing, and, we need a person, so.
All right, next person. Margot, you have an announcement?
I have 3 quick ones, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. This Saturday, the Harbor is hosting Pride Prom Year Y2K edition from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Lake County's Fairgrounds. And there is a flyer for folks to zoom in on in Zoomland. And then the second event is for next Sunday, and that is the County of Lake Health Services is hosting the Pride Fair for LGBTQIA2S+, and that is going to be at Austin Park, Sunday, June 28th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Clear Lake. And the flyer for that is here.
Awesome. First one ever. Great.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, sorry, one more, very quick. Okay, on Tuesday, June 23rd at 11 a.m., there is a Board of Supervisors hearing on the cannabis ordinance amendments. Of interest to neighbors are 2 things. First are setbacks, and that is one of the few ways to control cannabis odors, well, a mitigation. And secondly, permits are not going to be expiring. The expiration of permits is one of the few ways to ensure compliance with the current ordinance. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Lisa?
I also have 3 quick ones. One is this Saturday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., Solano Women in Medicine is hosting their Juneteenth event in Nice. So check that out if you're interested. Bachelor Valley Grange will have a booth. On July 18th, 5 to 7 or 5:30 to 7:30 at the Bachelor Valley Grange, Northern Rural Energy Network will be giving out their free boxes to help with energy usage at home. And last is on Wednesday, July 8th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Robinson Rancheria. There is a North Shore Restoration public meeting, and this is addressing a 40,000-acre post-fire recovery effort put on in the Mendocino National Forest, and it includes the Mendocino National Forest, Upper Lake Ranger District staff, and CAL FIRE, Tribal Eco Restoration Alliance, and the Environmental Research Center.
Lots going on. Is anyone else in the room, public or online? In Zoom? Okay, we'll proceed then to the next one. Thank you, everyone, for that. Lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's good.
So, you want to go
Yeah,
ahead?
I will.
Thank you, Claudine.
My name is Claudine, and Mary, Ray, and I comprise the Traffic Safety Committee. We've been focusing I think, exclusively on school safety and the issues of drop-off, pickup between about 7:45 to 8, and then 7:45 to 2. But school is out now, so we do have a new superintendent, tentatively Logan, and she's very aware of the problem. We're trying to get our kind of thoughts together to alleviate all the congestion that happens during those time slots. And I'm very pleased to announce that Lieutenant Commander Franzler is here with us from the California Highway Patrol, the Lake County group, and he's going to provide a presentation and questions to follow. But and I've got my little poster up here. Please call if you see infractions. Call 281-5200. 5200. Excuse me, and report that. Sure.
Thank you, Commander.
Yay.
Thank you. Whoa. Thank you, everyone, for having me. I've been to a few town hall meetings on the North Shore over the past few years. I'm Dan Fansler. I'm the CHP commander. I've been here for about 4.5 years now. I don't really know. I'm going to just give you a little overview of our department and what we focus on and what we do. And then I'll, open it up for questions if that works for you all. For me personally, I've been on the department for 25 years now. I've worked all over the state. I've worked in Ukiah, Clear Lake, Napa, Santa Cruz, Sonoma County, the state capital, San Francisco. I've been around, which is kind of typical for a state agency if you're trying to get anywhere up the chain of command. I was an officer in Clear Lake in 2006. I spent about a year here, so I was really familiar with all the townships and the different highways and byways before I left and came back. I've got a lot of different experience. I've worked for the Counterterrorism Threat Awareness Section for the Highway Patrol. I was on the Governor's Protective Detail. I was on some dignitary protection details. I was in a federal task force for a while. So I'm happy to be here. As far as the Kelseyville office, we're comprised of about 25 officers on the best situation. That's the max that I'm allotted from the state. I don't think I've ever had that many since I've been here, but we are looking a lot better now than we were a few years ago. I think we're up to about 23 officers now, which is great. I've heard a lot of comments from the public about seeing us more out on the road and seeing us in places they don't normally see us, and that's actually on purpose. With the amount of bodies I have now, I'm able to kind of distribute the love a little bit, as we would say. As an agency, we are primarily the traffic enforcement agency for the county. So that basically means that our focus is traffic safety, and our number one goal is always to protect life, to prevent deaths from serious crashes and things of that nature. We focus most of our attention on the state routes, which there are many in Lake County. We have 20, 29, 53, 281, 2 175s. I mean, there's quite a few state routes in Lake County. We do focus our enforcement on most of the unincorporated areas of Lake County. However, we do focus where most of the traffic is, which is our state routes. We're responsible for commerce, making sure that people get from place to place safely. I-5 to 101 is a major corridor. Since I've been here, well, at least in the last year, I've made it a particular specific effort to have more people on Highway 20. I feel like North Shore needs it. If you look at our statistics over the last couple of years, we've had quite a few vehicle versus pedestrian incidents, and just the fact that we have so much traffic traveling, east to west or vice versa. So hopefully you've noticed. If you haven't, I can tell you from our statistics that we are more present here than we used to be. But again, it's a large county. We're a 24/7 operation. So there's always officers on the road 24/7, holidays or not. With the amount of staffing I have, on a good day, about 4 officers for the whole county on every given shift. So you can imagine, as large as the county is, we kind of divide it by north, south, east, and west. So on a good day, I will have an officer in the north, which would be Upper Lake, one on the east, which is basically from just past Nice all the way to the Colusa County line. Our south unit is basically all of Highway 53 in Clear Lake, all the way to the Napa County line through Middletown. And then our west unit would be basically from Hopland 175 down to Lower Lake. So it's a large area to cover. It doesn't take much to get us, you know, to have them occupied. If we get a serious crash or any type of DUI arrest, that would take an officer out of pocket for at least 2 or 3 hours. So, okay, yeah, so again, our focus is safety. We do that in a couple of different ways. One of them is enforcement, the least popular way, right? So we do enforce the vehicle code. That's one of the ways that we try to prevent crashes and deaths. We provide some safety, public safety programs that we do throughout the year. Probably the most popular ones in this county, it's different in every county, is our Every 15 Minutes program, which we work with the local high schools to basically put on a mock fatality crash involving young students that are under the influence. We do it throughout the county in every high school. There's kind of like a rotation. Every year it's a different high school. One year it's 2 high schools. And actually Upper Lake is slated for next year. So Upper Lake will be 2027. So we'll start actually, and so I'll be doing a full rotation. When I first started here, I started with Every 15 Minutes in Upper Lake, and I've been to every high school since, and now I'm working my way back to this town. So that's kind of neat, but we'll be planning meetings for that and coordinating with the school soon, because it takes a lot of time and effort to get up to the point where we actually have the show, as we call it. We also do one of the more popular programs is our Age Well, Drive Safe program. So we have a safety program where an officer comes to small townships like this. We've held that program in Lucerne, in Kelseyville, and Middletown. We kind of jump around. It really just requires a location where we have enough technology to put up a PowerPoint, but we invite senior drivers to come and basically listen to the statistics and some of the things that you might want to focus on as you get older, as you age, when you're driving, some of the things that can keep you safe. And then we offer a certificate at the end of that, which I've been told that some insurance companies accept and actually lowers your insurance rate if you attend that class. We'll be putting one of those on here pretty soon. If anyone has any interest in that, you just call the Kelseyville office. We have a list. We keep people's names and contact information, and then when we actually decide on a location, we put on the class and we invite people to come, and we'll do that. Another program that we do is called Start Smart, and that's mostly for young drivers just starting out, 14, 15, 16, getting ready to drive. And that's just more focused on their safety and distraction, which is a big problem with kids nowadays with all the distractions, cell phones and big screens in their cars. And so that's kind of the focus there. Some kids are actually court mandated to attend that class, depending if they've had citations for speed or other things. So that's the 3 most popular safety programs that we have in Lake County. We do a few others, but they're not as popular. For us, as an area, we have our own strategic plan. So we have a plan that we come up with every year where we kind of look at things that we want to focus on for the year to try to prevent deaths and keep people safe. So for this year, the focus has been on seat belts and child safety seats, DUI, so driving under the influence, not just of alcohol, drugs, a combination thereof, even prescription drugs, recovery of stolen vehicles. There's a big problem in Lake County with stolen vehicles. So we're focusing our efforts on recovering people's vehicles before they get, destroyed or vanish. And we've had some success there this year. And what was the other one? well, obviously speed is, I mean, any PCF, we call it PCF, primary collision factor. So any vehicle code section that could potentially cause serious injury in an accident. Speed obviously being a big one. Driving too close, unsafe lane changes. We call that a PCF, so that's just our terminology, but we always focus on that. We've had some focused enforcement efforts already this year, and we do that throughout the year also. And I'll just give you all a little heads up. You'll be the first one with the word. There's a maximum enforcement period. That's what we call it. This Saturday for DUI. So you'll see more officers than normal out patrolling in the evening time, just trying to keep people safe and hopefully, you know, catch anyone that's under the influence before they crash or kill somebody. That'll be happening this weekend. And then we're going to jump right into the 4th of July holiday, so that's different. So every holiday, it kicks off with Memorial Day and goes throughout the rest of the year. We have a focused enforcement effort, and that's usually statewide, so it's every county. And you might notice, like, on the 4th of July or on Memorial Day, you'll see, you know, patrol cars from 101 to Colusa to William, and you'll wonder, you know, what's going on. It's just that's actually a concerted effort to try to, like, you know, protect people and slow people down and on the holidays when there's more people out driving. So that will happen on the 4th of July, and that's usually a 3 or 4 day event. So that'll happen the day before the 4th, which is on a Saturday this year. So it'll probably start on Friday and go all the way through Monday. And that'll be statewide. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the information I have. I'm happy to entertain any questions or comments.
Before we go to the public, I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to the council. I would like to comment, thank you for all your service and continued safety on the roads, enforcing the laws and keeping us safe.
Thank you.
I do a lot of bike riding on those roads and see a lot of different things besides drive them every day. I appreciate the support. I have seen more coverage, more people sitting on the side waiting for potential speeders. I've seen that a lot more. Thank you for that coverage. Hopefully that continues, and it sounds like it will in your strategy plan for Highway 20 corridor. A couple comments or questions on the trucks. I've seen those trucks come into Nice going 55, 60, 18-wheelers. And have you guys ever, what's the enforcement? I mean, have you guys pulled those over before? Or?
We do pull them over. There's the rule about you can't transport hazardous materials on Highway 20. It's a route that's closed for that. So most of the trucks transporting diesel or fuel are not allowed to be on 20 unless they're going to a specific location where they sell fuel, like here at Chevron. A lot of overlength on Highway 175 in Hopland. We're always tackling that constantly because apparently their GPS tells them to, you know, go that way, so they decide to go that way even though there's huge signs that say nothing over 65 feet. There is specific training to do anything other than PCS, which is, you know, speed is consistent no matter what kind of vehicle you're driving. But if it's specific to commercial stuff, like length and what they're transporting, logbook violations, that's a specific group of officers that are trained for that. It's a lot of extra additional training, Title 13 stuff. We have one officer in this county that's designated, we call it a commercial officer, MRE, that works. You might see him a lot on Blue Lakes. He's usually out there in the turnout just below the hill. He pulls over every commercial vehicle that comes through and does their inspections to make sure that their equipment's working properly, their air brakes are working, all that stuff. It's not something that we ignore, for sure, but it's not necessarily always a focus either. If you tell me that there's speeders, commercial trucks speeding on Highway 20, that's something I'll definitely take back to my supervisors and officers.
Yeah, I do see it, especially going into Nice out of Lucerne. You go past the 45 radar.
Yeah.
I have the signage, and they're going 50, 60. I just see that sometimes. Secondary to that, I know that people have talked about deterring the for the longest time, even in the pedestrian and bicycle advisory committee for District 1, which is Caltrans that I'm on, we talk about constantly, and people have talked about this, trying to get the big rigs off 20. I don't know
Yeah.
if that'll ever happen. Do you ever see that foreseen happen?
Well, the whole plan with the expressway was, once it's complete, if it ever happens,
Highway
the plan
29?
is to force, to make it mandatory for all commercial vehicles to go around the lake. That hasn't happened yet. That's kind of the plan. I think that's in place. They just finished the one section. Now they've got, some things to work out to get to the next one. I know it's in the works. It's a lot of money and other things, but right now there's no direction to do that. It would be great. The only thing that's really restricted right now on 20 is obviously, like I said, the fuel,
Okay.
because of the lake and the water and that situation.
And just to finalize my comments, the camera system, do you guys use the cameras for license plates or anything? Have you guys used them, or you're not using them?
Yes. When they first arrived in the county, it wasn't by my doing. We love them, but we tried to kind of keep it a little bit on the down low because we were afraid that people might vandalize them, or but I think it's pretty much out now that there are cameras throughout the county that record license plates, and yes, all of my officers are trained to use that system. The CHP actually, they kind of came late to the party. The county, believe it or not, was actually the first to really get running with the cameras, and then it kind of bled over to Clear Lake and Lakeport, so the cities also. Because it's part of the same system, we have access to all those cameras. And it has been very helpful in some very serious cases. We've had several cases where pedestrians died and the drivers left the scene, and because of those cameras and the technology as it is, we were able to track down over time the people involved. So yes, we do use them, we're trained to use them, and it's part of our routine day-to-day now.
Thank you.
Very useful.
Anybody else on the council have a question for the commander? So let's go to the.
I just want to impress on people to call in and make a statement, because oftentimes there's so many issues here in Upper Lake with tailgating and high speed and so forth. So call in and.
If I could just speak to that. I've worked in a lot of different counties, but I don't know who got the memo in this county, but people in Lake County do call in. We call them BOLOs, be on the lookout, right? Information on people weaving, people driving aggressively, road rage incidents. We take those seriously. We want those calls, and we try to position ourselves. We take them very seriously. The best information you can give us, it's sometimes hard at the time, is a fairly accurate location, Highway 20 at Bruner, something, a direction, east or west, and then as much information about the car. Is it a small sedan? Is it white, blue, color? What kind of vehicle is it? Is there anything identifiable? Is there a sticker? Can you get the license plate? When we get dispatched to those, our officers respond, and we've had, just recently, within the last week, we've had a lot of luck with a couple of those calls where we were able to track down those people, and they were under the influence, and probably saved somebody's life because of it. But yeah, don't be afraid to call in. If you think somebody's DUI, especially, if somebody's all over the road or somebody's driving aggressively and putting people at danger, call 911. Any cell phone 911 call goes directly to CHP. And they dispatch us out, and we do our best to track it down. I always tell my officers, there's no better publicity for the highway patrol than when someone from the public calls in a car and then sees us drive by and pull that car over. They don't necessarily know the outcome, and sometimes the outcome is nothing, if we can't identify a violation, or if they're at the time they're not breaking the law. But a lot of the times it does result in, something.
I've done it.
Yeah.
If you see somebody weaving or anything, call.
Yeah, don't be afraid to call that in, for sure.
Okay, let's go to the public. Raise your hand if you want to make a comment or ask the commander a question. Dennis?
So I've lived in Nice for quite a while now, and it seems to me early in the morning from the post office, through town,
So going
to the
westbound?
roundabout, just between the post office and the roundabout, there's Manzanita Drive that runs
Yep.
parallel from the post office and comes back out by the hog pen there where it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning, when you could get on the road at all, I've had 2 jacked up pickup trucks pass me in the center lane, which is really dangerous. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
just if you could just watch in the morning for that kind of thing. I know people got to get to work, but that's just really dangerous. And
Well, we've had a lot, not to cut you out, we've had a lot of reports about the passing in the left, yes. And so we have made an effort to try to be around during those times, and we've had some success, but it's really hard to kind of gauge when people are going to do that. I experienced it several times when I was off duty in my personal car driving to Sacramento, and obviously it upset me, acting like they didn't have a care in the world, just passing everybody in the center lane. We're aware of it. We've actually had a lot of conversations with Caltrans about that, and I don't know how much you shared, but they are going to,
I haven't shared anything yet, but you can.
we're in the works of implementing a test project where they're going to insert these, what did you call them?
They're called channelizers.
Yes.
We've talked about that before, yeah. They are coming, as Dan said, they're going to be brought into the center lanes.
Yes, they're going to be put in strategic places along Highway 20 in the center lane, keeping, in mind of, people's private driveways or businesses. They're going to put them in strategic locations in an attempt to try to prevent these cars from passing in that lane. They are rated to be able to be, hit up to a certain height, 45 or 50 miles an hour. They can be removed and placed, they can be moved in different locations fairly easily, I guess. I've only seen pictures and had some PowerPoint presentations presented to me. They did a test up in Humboldt County and seemed to work okay. So that is in the works, as far as I know. I haven't heard any updates recently, but so you may see those here soon. I think it's all the way from Upper Lake through into the Clear Lake Oaks in different locations. And just to kind of see if that maybe helps a little bit.
And if you want to see what they look like, you can just Google Oric, California, and put channelizers, and you'll see pictures of what they look like, and they look pretty good.
And that's a direct, that's from our input, from the public's input to us, and me meeting with Caltrans and talking about some of the issues in the county. And it took a few years, but this is the solution that they came up with temporarily, and we'll see how it works. But that's another thing, just suggestions on, so we meet with Caltrans, especially on the state routes 20, 29, like engineering suggestions, things that maybe people notice when they're driving that they think are dangerous, or some more signage, or somewhere that might need a left turn lane. We discuss that 4 times a year, and we've had some success in this county because of the input from the public, moving on up from me to Caltrans. In fact, I've had some success here, and working with the Supervisor Crandall has always been very helpful. We've had some projects in the past few years that we've done off of input from people in this area that seem to have worked. So we do welcome that type of input, and we discuss it and hopefully come up with solutions.
Anybody else in the public would like to? Maya, is that right? Okay. Tim will bring the microphone over to you so we can hear you. Thank you.
Hi, I was just wondering, is there any specific vehicles that are targeted for getting stolen and in any location?
I don't think there's any trends. Back 10 years ago, it was always the Honda Accord, but it's kind of all over the map. I could say people are sometimes pretty relaxed here. Maybe because it's, there's people vacationing and there's people that are retired. don't leave your cars. Don't leave your keys in the car, please. I think the people that are learned on stealing vehicles know where people tend to stage their keys. But I don't know of any specific trends right now. It's just kind of all over the map. I mean, we've had motorhomes, we've had bands. That's a good question. Maybe for the, if I'm invited back, I'll take a little deeper dive in that to see if there's any like specific trends on vehicles right now. It's not as easy as it used to be to steal cars, obviously with the electronics and key fobs and stuff like that. But we still have trailers. People leave their utility trailers and their flatbed trailers thinking that nobody will hook them, and they hook right up to them and take them away. We get a lot of those. So just know that we are focusing on trying to recover those before they
Okay, I have one more
disappear.
question. I didn't know this, highway patrol, when you have counties, you only work in your county?
Yeah, so we're a state agency, but how we divide our areas is by county typically. Not all counties are pure. We call it county pure. This is one of them where we are. So our jurisdiction is the entire county of Lake. Ukiah, for example, they only take Mendocino County up to Bell Springs Road north of Laytonville, and then Garberville takes over. So there are some places, but most of the time they try to, especially in Northern California where it's kind of more spread out, we try to they focus our attention on each county. When you get down into like LA and the Bay Area, like some areas are, because of the freeway system and so many small cities and towns, they might encompass more than one. But then we don't really focus on incorporated cities anyways. It's mostly freeways and then, unincorporated roadways and county roadways. So, but here in Lake County, yeah, we have the whole county. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. One of our directives is we obviously work hand in hand with the sheriff's department. I mean, we're kind of expected to assist them because we're both county, we focus on county problems. But again, we're mostly traffic. So they help us out when we need them and we help them out. And the city as well. Like we're going to go 4th of July, we're going to have officers in Lakeport to help, we kind of all help each other, especially in these smaller rural counties. We all kind of have to help each other. Anyway, sorry, sir.
My name's Ray from Upper Lake.
Hi.
How's the catalytic converter situation going?
There was a period of time where they were being stolen pretty regularly, but I'll say the sheriff's department played a big role in tracking down several individuals that were kind of like they were key suspects in the local stuff, and it seems to have died down since they were.
Yeah, I was one of the keys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Was it a group of people doing it in Lake
It was
County?
more than one person, yeah. It was kind of like an organized group of individuals
Yeah,
that
'cause
were.
there was 3 in a month right around my house.
Okay, yeah. I haven't heard anything recently, but for a period there was a lot of them, and then I think
It gets
they kinda.
expensive.
Oh yeah, it's not good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else out there would raise your hand? We'll do one more question, then we'll.
Thank you, Sergeant Hansler. Can you tell us, does the station in Kelseyville, do you guys offer car seat checks? Because I see a lot of people posting and asking where they can have to make sure their car seat is installed properly. Do you guys offer that in Kelseyville?
Ouch! I wish you wouldn't ask that. So every office is supposed to have, and it's actually a really advanced, lengthy training course to become certified, and our department is big on it. We are always supposed to have somebody. Unfortunately, the 2 trained people that I had at my office transferred to other areas, and so now I'm in the works of trying to send my next, identified person to that training so that he can start doing that. So we don't have anybody officially at our office that can do it legally yet, because there's a lot of liability if you don't do it correct. Every car seat's different in how you install it in vehicles. But there are other groups throughout the county that are certified. I know there's a couple firehouses down in South County. I would have to do a little research, but what is
Lake County Fire.
Lake County Fire?
Yeah, they're probably your main ones. Mark Hill is the coordinator and I believe still an instructor.
Okay.
Yeah, the training is extensive. It's like a week-long training and yeah.
Yeah, and it's not easy.
No,
I mean, they'll fail you if you
I
don't
know,
do
I
it
used
correctly.
to.
Yeah, but it is something that we want to help with, and we do have not many, but we do have extra car seats. Sometimes people come and their car seats have already been in an accident, or they're just not what they need, and so we can donate a few. We get a few a year. I don't like to advertise that because we don't have many, but we do have a few. But I'm kind of in this lull right now in between where I don't have anybody certified, but it's in the works. And I mean, honestly, once it happens, I'll probably advertise it on social media. I've been thinking a lot about maybe just designating a certain day. It'd probably be a lot, but just like inviting anybody from the public who wants to stop by, and then just having that person or a couple, maybe inviting maybe the officer from Ukiah or Williams to come and maybe do like a joint operation to try to help people install their car seats correctly. So it's definitely something that's been on my mind. So thank you for that question.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
Well, first I will offer, I used to run the child passenger safety program,
Okay.
and if you want to talk after, I can.
Okay.
And then, do you have an Explorer program, and would that possibly be somebody that could be trained also?
They don't allow they only allow, our department will only allow sworn officers to do it. We do have an Explorer program, so good pitch. I'd like to throw out that pitch. At one time a few years ago, we had a really thriving program, apparently before my time. I'm trying to re-energize, trying to reestablish that post. It's been really challenging. I go to high schools, I go to career days. There's not a lot of interest with the current group of kids to get into law enforcement, but we do actually have an Explore post. We have 2 meetings a month. It's on a Monday. If you know anybody between the ages of 15 and 21 that might be interested in law enforcement, maybe just wants to come to a meeting and check it out, please have them call our office. We're trying to expand that. I've had a really rough time. I had 3, and then I'm down to 1 really dedicated Explorer. The Sheriff's Department also has an Explorer program, so they kind of, we compete for interest. The hardest part for us is we're in Kelseyville, and I think a lot of kids have a hard time getting transportation to our office, which can be difficult. But yeah, we definitely have an Explorer post that we're trying to rejuvenate, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, send them our way, please.
All right, well, thank you so
Thank you.
much for
Thank
coming
you.
down tonight. Keep up the great work, and we look forward to seeing you next time, and keep the roads safe. And if you are going up to Humboldt, always follow the rules, and when you're driving through Leggett, definitely follow the rules. Just from my experience. Anyway, thank you so much. All right, we're going to ask for Chief Donnelly. Come on up. Come on down. This will be for North Shore Fire update. Just
Matthew Donnelly, North Shore Fire Protection District. By the way, we have a bunch of Explorers. Got to have that law enforcement fire banter going. See, he's not even paying attention. And also, I reached out to Mark Hill, Battalion Chief with Lake County, to see if there's any upcoming car seat events coming up. So hopefully by the time we finish up, I might have some information. So just kind of giving you guys an overview of what's going on with North Shore Fire Protection these days. We're coming up to 20 years anniversary in November. That's when Upper Lake, Nice, Lucerne, Clear Lake Oaks all consolidated to make North Shore Fire Protection District. Going back to attrition, finding people to work, the area that both the Sheriff's Department, CHP, and ourselves cover is huge. Commander didn't mention, they also go out into the forest with us on calls. So you can only imagine the impact that does for coverage. around the lake. Our district's 357 square miles. We cover 46 miles of the highway from county line to county line. And as you got from the commander, it is a very busy section, and there is lots of traffic accidents. And even with all the new technology, which helps passengers tremendously, we still have a lot of major accidents along that corridor, which keeps us busy. We're running about 3,900 calls per year. That's pretty on spot for the last 2 years and so far this year, but we're coming up to our busy season. And as you guys all see the bumper grass cop, it'll probably be a busy fire season. And before I forget to, our next, this is for the Health Safety Fair, Scheduled 1. I think that might be the one in Lakeport, and that's the one I recalled was coming up. So I'll see if I can do a little research, and I'll get back to Worth. So we have currently 2 stations staffed, one in Nice with 3 people, minimum staffing, and Clear Lake Oak, Station 75, which minimum staffing currently is 2. We'd like to have 3 there, but we're trying to trim our costs for our fiscal year and budget. So we have 2 folks down there minimum, and both those stations will always have a paramedic. Very rarely, there's been twice in probably the last 6 months that we've had to have one station with just basic life support. So the basic difference is advanced care versus basic care. What else is going on? Speaking of medics, we have 6 currently throughout the district, with 2 part-timers that fill in open slots quite regularly. And we have 3 more paramedic students that should be all qualified and ready to go by the end of December. So that's good news. Some other things that go on with the district, we have 3 volunteer groups. We have the dive team, the support team, and the explorers, let's say. The dive team, obviously, that's pretty obvious. They go out, we have a group of full-time staff that is the main group and the leadership, and then we have volunteers that come. We had a call a couple of weeks ago out at Clear Lake, in between Glen Haven and Clear Lake, where a couple young kids went into the lake. Luckily, they got out fine, but the team goes in, makes sure there's no other issues, anybody in the vehicle, and then help getting the vehicle removed when the wrecker gets there. So a great thing because we have the lake, and that's a county resource, and actually they go to our neighboring counties when requested. The support team helps us with any kind of major incidents, fill our bottles, cooling systems, shade, food, water, coffee, and they're great to have. Just asked them to come out and help us a few days ago with the second day of the trail fire when we were out there by Sulphur Bank, and helped us out with just keeping people supplied in the 100-degree weather. And then the Explorers is actually quite a bit robust system, led by Captain John Rodriguez, and his numbers stay pretty consistent. I can't name the number off the top of my head, but every time I see him meet, there's at least 10 to 20 kids, and then they help out with other special events. They go to public contacts around the county. They helped out Memorial Day, putting up flags, taking them down. So it's a active post. We also have the Hogsback Fuel Crew. They go around and either mechanically or by old school chainsaws and hands and do fuels mitigation throughout the county, and we're in partnership with the clerk to go out and find those projects. And currently they're working in the Riviera, and a new project has started down in Clear Lake. And we also have the North Shore Fire Fund. I don't know if you guys have ever heard, but they help us tremendously. They have a very active group and also consistent donors every year. It's pretty amazing. They most recently bought carbon monoxide detectors for each medic ambulance, and 1 4-gas for one of the engines. So, and they also bought us some new structure gloves for everybody in the department. And we're still waiting for those. Everything's back ordered. Everything takes forever. Kind of just a little talking about just the cooperation with law enforcement, but on the fire side, we have tablets in our vehicles. They have GPS locators. So whenever there's a call in the county, it's always closest resource. So whatever resource needs to go to the fire. So like say on Sunday, I don't know if you guys picked up on it. You guys are on the scanner Facebook groups, but there was a lot of activity Sunday afternoon into the evening. So over an hour-and-a-half period, I think I jotted down maybe 8 calls, 3 wildland fires, structures threatened, some outbuildings threatened, and then Clear Lake Oaks starts with Sulphur Bank. So there's just literally just people moving everywhere all the time. So I just catch some things occasionally that say, well, where was everybody? Well, everybody was everywhere. Kelseyville was running medical calls in our district. Our guys were everywhere from Kelseyville on fires to Middletown back to the Oaks. CAL FIRE sends their aircraft. They have resources everywhere. Our federal friends right out of Upper Lake down to Clear Lake Oaks to help us. So it's a group effort all the time. And I almost missed this meeting because there was a call down out by New Long Valley. Actually, it ended up being by the Y, by Moose Lodge. But it was small. The humidities, you guys probably all feel it. It's a little muggy, more than normal. So luckily, with the temperatures, it is a little muggy right now. But don't let your guard down. It only takes one day of the wind, the relative humidity to go down to it be a tinderbox again. Kind of talking about that, don't forget hazard reduction, right? You hear it all the time. If you have complaints, go through code enforcement for the county. And that's so important to take care of your own stuff. That's the difference between saving your house and not saving your house, is a little bit of work. And then I also remind people, don't forget about CPR. I know you think we're gonna come to every call, we will get there, but the best way to save family, friends, or somebody that you don't even know is to do CPR. And that's gonna give them that little chance of survival. So, because the person's heart stopped. And it's different now. You just have to do compressions. There's no face stuff, there's none of that. We just need compressions. So look out locally, there's classes all over the county, and worst case scenario, I bet you can Google it. So, let's see, what else is on my notes here? We talked about the trail fire. Oh, it kind of came up to me that maybe a couple months ago, I missed the meeting, that we were kind of somebody talked about SRA versus, I got a friend up here, state responsibility area versus local responsibility area. And so basically what that means is local responsibility area for like Upper Lake. I just double checked on the map, but basically when you go up to Elk, it's where all the flatlands are basically. That's the best way to kind of make it quick and easy. So in Upper Lake, Elk Mountain Road, everything in the drainages in the flatlands is local responsibility. We go to all the medical aids. We're responsible for structure fires, vehicle fires. But at the same time, SRA is close by. We could get a state response with that too, and that's state responsibility area. So basically when you get that big dog leg, when you're going out Elk Mountain Road, that's where it changes. Bachelor Valley Road, big dog leg, that's where it changes. And then whenever you see hills, 99% of the time, it's gonna be SRA. Our little fire down outside of the Elam Rancheria, couple acres on the reservation, and the rest 15 acres of LRA. Luckily, we had good cooperation. It's considered a MTZ, multi-threat zone, so that's why CAL FIRE had such a response. And you gotta remember, they had aircraft up in the area already because of all of our other fires. So those are things that sometimes the timing works out, can slow things down. So that's kind of, we're responsible for all the medical, traffic collisions, but if there's a state resource close by, they'll come and help us too. Like Station 40 out of Glen Haven helps us a lot on the North Shore. And then our friends in Upper Lake, they're very helpful on anything as far as the Forest Service. They have 2 Type 3 engines. That's a wildland engine, the bigger ones. They have 4 to 5 people on them, and they have a water tender. And they have a hotshot crew also, but they're gone a lot. So, let's see. We're continually looking for grants, talking about traffic safety. We got a big, about $150,000 grant for battery operated extrication tools. So much faster they're about half the time to get working or less, because all you do is push a button and work the handle, and you're cutting, spreading, and then we have rams too that telescope. So very helpful. That was a great addition for us because of all of our traffic collisions along the North Shore and then our neighbors. And then we just got declined on our next OTS grant. We were looking for over-the-side equipment, ropes, tripods, because we do have a lot of over-the-sides also. Let's see, I think that's about all I have on the general state of North Shore.
Okay.
All risks, so yeah, we respond to everything.
Well, thank you for your hard work and your safety of all your team members. We met the support team at we'll talk about the Nice Resource Fair, which we had over the weekend. They're wonderful people. They gave us,
Yes.
I got a tour of all the rig and the equipment.
They're amazing.
Amazing. I'm sure they were on scene with all these fires, helping out with refreshments and
Cool.
support. Do we know how the Sulphur Bank fire started?
It's under investigation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a question for Chief? Before we go to the public comment, we have someone online. Can you state your name or comment or ask a question for the Chief?
Go ahead, Sterling.
Sterling. Sterling, are you there?
Sunday,
There
it
you
was
go.
hot, we had a breeze, and you guys did an amazing job. So
Could you start over, Sterling? I'm sorry.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello?
We-
You can hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Okay, so I want to say thank you very much. I do live in Spring Valley. I've experienced a lot of evacuations, fires behind my house. Just last Sunday, somebody caught their backyard on fire on purpose out here. So the appreciation of that. And then also, is there anything that us as a community can do on putting fundraisers together for the North Shore fire area? I mean, we could probably put on some car shows. People come in and spend their money. We can have vendors, and we can start slowly doing this through the years to where we can have a little extra funds for you guys.
I mean, my suggestion would be to kind of probably tie in with the North Shore Fire Fund and kind of grassroot that from there and see where it goes.
Okay. And if you want to watch the board meetings, they're on North Shore Fire. You can link in. When's the next board meeting?
Let's see, it would be second week in July, so it should be July 8th.
And you can go to their website, North
Yep.
Shore Fire, and you can link in
And
through
you can
them
link
to
in.
watch them.
Correct.
So any other public comment? Well, I don't know. What time do you usually have? 4 o'clock?
They're supposed, 17:30.
5:30.
Sorry, 5:30.
5:30.
Been a long time in the service.
That's
here.
all right, 17:30. Okay, raise your hand if you have a comment or question for the chief. Thank you.
You guys are busy on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Yes, we were, Larry.
Was that set by someone? Because we were following it. on the
We're
fire
talking
watch.
about the sulfur banks.
No, we're
the
talking
fire.
about down 29, like they got off the freeway, started a little one, and went down farther. Is that 29? 53.
Oh, out of Clear Lake?
Yeah.
I haven't heard, I haven't tied in and heard anything, but yeah, there's been a lot of activity down in Clear Lake lately.
Yeah, it looked like they were just
Yeah.
traveling.
All right, anyone else with another comment? Before we,
Just a quick question. Do you feel like the community, North Shore, is keeping up with keeping debris down and defensible spaces around their house?
I think like everything, there's people that do, and you can see that, and there's definitely people that don't, for sure.
all right, any other questions for, okay? Thank you, Chief. We appreciate your
Okay.
updates. Keep the
Thank
great
you.
work up. All right, we're going to go move on to some Worth business. Land use projects. I originally put this on to kind of follow through on anything in community development happening in the area. I really don't have any updates on this right now, unless anybody has a comment on specific big projects coming in, so forth. I'll keep updated on that, hopefully with anything that might come to fruition in our area in the future, like a development or something, so we're aware of it. I don't have anything currently. We're going to move to bylaws. Lisa, you wanted to talk about, you had emailed us just today some updates, and I just looked at, there's quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, so I think I can just give an update on what I did, and then there's a couple of things that I would like feedback on before presenting. So my goal is, before we mark it all up, I wanted to make sure we were all in alignment on some of the changes. So what I have done is I have read all of the bylaws that I found, that I could find on the internet for the other municipal advisory councils. Then I read our bylaws to see, because our bylaws have not been updated for a really long time. And recently, the last couple of years, other advisory councils have been pushing through updates on theirs, which prompted this conversation. So what I did was I read through ours, and then I drafted a couple of recommendations. And so high level, there are some things that are conflicting. So for example, in the membership section of the bylaws, at first it says there are no requirements, and then in the next paragraph, it lists requirements to be a member. So it's clarifying those kinds of things. I don't necessarily think there's some typos in the bylaws that I don't necessarily think we need to hash those out. But there are a couple of things that I found in other areas that I wanted to gauge interest here if we would like to add them to our bylaws. And so for the bylaw update process, you have to read the bylaw amendment. So we would be writing an amendment for any changes that we agree with. At the next meeting, we would read that amendment, and then in the following meeting, which would be the August meeting, we would vote on it as a council. And then
What's that, where does that procedure come from?
our bylaws.
Our bylaw says.
It's the
make-
amendment process.
Make the desire for change, read the change.
Yeah, so the bylaws say we write an amendment, we read the amendment, and this is pretty standard practice for bylaws, bylaw updates. So we read the amendment, and then in a future meeting, we vote on the amendment. And then once we vote on it, we would actually send it up to the Board of Supervisors, and then they would vote on it for final ratification. So the things that I flagged, one is the Earth bylaws actually added a boundary map that clearly identifies what their municipal advisory council is. So that's one suggestion. I think that's great. And then the Earth, the math, Earth is Clear Lake Oaks, math is Middletown, and the BVAC, which is Big Valley Advisory Council, their bylaws are actually very robust. And all three of those have a more robust committee selection process. So what is a committee? How does the committee work? And who sits on the committees? And then how do you identify completion of committees? So our bylaws does not clearly identify what a committee is. We actually call it projects. And then it says that the project is supposed to have a champion on the team. That's not really how our committees work. So essentially what I am recommending is that we bring our bylaws current to how we actually practice, which we do practice of, we create a committee. That committee has a champion, or I think we've called them a leader, and then that committee reports out to us. I think that we just need to formalize that process. The other councils, multiple councils, actually require a council member to be a part of the committee. I think that's a best practice that we should add.
Overseer of the committee, like
It doesn't have to be a council person, doesn't, unless we decide it does. A council person doesn't have to be the leader of the committee, although there is.
It's like liaison from the committee.
They have to attend. And so the BVAC, the chair of a committee could be a community member, yes. But in order for a committee to meet, they have to have the representative from the council present. And then that would be considered a committee meeting. So I think that I would like to recommend we do that as well as we're building our relationships out. And then the other section that the BVAC has, they added the conflict of interest, which matches the county's conflict of interest, which I think we actually all have to sign in our application process.
Oh, I don't remember.
Basically it says that we won't vote on anything that we get benefits from.
Oh, okay. So you want to write that into the bylaws?
Yes, I'd like to add that into the bylaws.
So the email that you sent out earlier has all of these recommendations?
Yes, it has all of these
So
recommendations.
what do we do tonight then? We're just going to look at these and.
So what I'm asking is I'm bringing up for the committee, if everyone here says, yeah, that's a good idea, then I'll add that to the amendment. If everyone says, no, we don't want to do that, then I'm not going to waste my time writing it in the amendment.
Okay, so say it again,
adding.
Sorry.
What I'm recommending is that we create a more formal structure to our committees that represents what we actually do and not what the current bylaws say.
You have a proposal for that?
Yes, I'm recommending that we replicate what the Big Valley Advisory Council and the Eastern Region Town Hall Council have in theirs.
And but we will have to read all these.
Yes, we would have to.
Next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, but we're going to be thinking about this.
Yes.
Okay.
So before I write out the amendment, which will take a decent amount of time, I wanted to make sure we had consensus on some of these things. So another example is the vice chair. According to our current bylaws, the vice chair is supposed to rotate every meeting. It is not a standard process. We do not do that.
Yes.
So we are currently out of compliance with our bylaws.
Yes.
So my recommendation is that we update the bylaws to what we are actually doing, so then we are no longer out of compliance.
Or remove that requirement from the bylaws.
Which would be updating the bylaws to match what we're doing.
Okay, Claudine, what's your comments?
I'd like to see them, so we can look up the recommendations, so we can look over it.
And Linda, you want to see, you're okay with Lisa looking at and sending us out and we can look at it for next meeting. And the next meeting, I do have a guest that's going to be here for 30 minutes, and it might take longer. I just want to make sure that if we do this, the meeting will go long. And that's
Well, what
okay
I can do is if we're in consensus that we're adding some of these things or bringing it up, then I can try to have it, a week or so before so everyone can read it.
Yeah.
We can post it on our website. We can share it out the way we share out agendas so that the public has an opportunity to review it.
And the next meeting, we'll
have to read it.
Be prepared and have it read.
Yes.
And then we'll be making,
and then the next meeting after that,
we do no action at the next meeting
Just-
outside of discussion.
just discuss it, okay.
And then after that, we vote on it.
Yes.
All right, well, if you want to, I agree. And then Supervisor Crandall, you want to comment on this process?
Yes, I'm glad you're doing this. This is really a good thing to do for your bylaws. One of the things to consider, though, is in one of my previous town halls, they're no longer our Lucerne area town hall, it's Central Region Town Hall. But when it was Lucerne area town hall, one of the things that became a problem is they would appoint people onto committees that they don't have to sign a conflict of interest document. So that's where it gets dicey too. So one thing to keep into consideration is if you're going to put together committees, to make sure that when you appoint or who you accept has to do the same thing. I don't choose your committees, you choose them. So a lot of times your committee members will come out and speak on behalf of Worth and all this other stuff, but I didn't pick them, I picked you. You see what I mean? So you have to just delineate that and make sure that it's written in your bylaws and that you have some sort of mechanism to hold them accountable to.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I'll have you work on that, and then if you can email it out to us so we can be prepared to discuss. Everybody's agreeable to that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes.
Okay, so the next business is D3 Mac Alliance. I'll just speak on this real quickly. We are having a Zoom call on this for the next, talk about the next one we're going to be having. I'm sure, from my opinion, part of this for the North Shore will be the North Shore Fire District, which is having, as you know, budgetary challenges. And we can also possibly talk about the energy policy that's been discussed at Earth. So there's a lot of topics. We'll have that Zoom call tomorrow, I believe, to discuss that, and then we'll plan on having another meeting in the near future at some point. So D3 Mac Alliance. Who's representing Pile Road tonight? Okay, you want to come up, Mike, to the microphone? And he's going to be, Dave's out tonight. We'll miss Dave. I'm sure he'll watch our playback.
David back next month. I'm Mike Bell. I belong to the Pile Road Committee. And we've been working, 3.5, 4 years for Cody. The last meeting we've talked about fire hazards and stuff, and just a couple days after that, it's between 4 and 5 in the morning, Cody's place burnt to the ground. So he wasn't in it, but we don't know what happened. They're investigating it. I got notified on my phone, and Dave drove up my house, said, hey, they're on fire up there at 5:26 in the morning. And they couldn't get the big fire truck up there, so they took 2 or 3 little ones up, and they put it out. The fire was over 30 feet high. It burnt in his lot, straight up in the air, no wind. If it was a week before that, we had 40-mile-an-hour wind heading right to Nice. And I'm glad, we didn't have that problem. But they cleaned that thing up in about 2 weeks. The county come up. They stripped all the frame and all that stuff out, cleaned that lot up, except for a pile of fence wood he brought up to burn for his campfires. They left that. But Cody's no longer living up there, and we're not sure where he's at right now. So he was arrested the day after that, and he was in jail for a couple days. We're not sure what the whole thing was. But that's it, and we've been keeping up, we got a couple places where they dump garbage up there. Not too bad yet, and no stolen cars for the last few months here. So that's about it for Pile Road. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike. Upper Lake School Traffic Safety, Claudine?
Well, we're going to be talking about that. Like I said, school is out, got a couple months to try to see if we can come up with a plan that will eliminate, Tenderly's back there, eliminate the congestion and maybe get a more orderly drop-off pickup for the Upper Lake Elementary.
Okay, so, yeah, you said you guys are working together on a game plan.
Yeah.
Let's continue to try to...
Oh, and one last question. I was wondering, EJ, do you know anything about the stop sign at Middle Creek and Second? Okay, thank you.
Fantastic. So who's representing Upper Lake Levees tonight? Okay, you want to come up to the, thanks, guys.
Hi, Julia Carrera, chair lead, whatever we're calling it these days, for the Upper Lake Levee Subcommittee, and John is one of our members. Walt had to leave. We have been communicating with Thomas about our meeting. We just had one, and we have some recommendations. The first comment is, we've been talking about the institutional knowledge that's been lost regarding the levee system due to turnover of staff and no transition period for information to be turned over. What is fortunate is that a lot of the community members, including John, whose property has the levee on it and the levee diversion gates, along with other community members that have worked on the levee or live along the levee and watched work on the levee being done over the years, do have institutional knowledge. So not all is lost. And based on that institutional knowledge, the Upper Lake Community Levee Subcommittee has 3 comments. The first comment is, and I'm going to let John talk about this, is that the Levee Subcommittee has to determine that there's been a complete abandonment of the general ongoing maintenance of the levee system. And John, do you want to give some detail?
Okay, well, I talked about this in April. During Marina Delagiantis' tenure, the county abandoned the mowing contractor that they had used for years to mow the levees. These guys were really good. They would complete the whole job in 3 or 4 days. They had 2 tractors. They had a 3rd man with a weed eater, working around the fixtures and stuff. They've also quit entirely doing any spraying on the roads to keep the weeds from growing up in the middle of levee roads. I haven't seen any control of the ground squirrels for years. These are all basic maintenance. Now, I have an ongoing conversation with Lisa Rosas-Bill. We're still trying to get together for a tour. No specific date yet. Right now, if you drive by the levees, it's a jungle. I mean, the grass is 6 feet tall, dry. She told me that they expect to start mowing toward the end of this month, and that it will continue into August, which is kind of exemplary of the problem because, as I tried to explain, when they gave up the mowing contractor, the Water Resources District acquired mowers of their own, but the mowers are far too small for the job. And consequently, in recent years, they've really never completed the mowing. That's the situation. And we're not even talking about trying to get all that massive vegetation out of there or remove sediment or anything like that. This is just basic maintenance work that the county's done every year, and it's not really happening anymore. So, I don't know, but it's very very puzzling. I mean, we don't know what the budget is. We don't know what the plan is. We wanted to try to have that conversation. Hasn't happened.
Great. Okay, the second recommendation is that the Worth Board write a letter to the State Water Resources Control Board about what the State Water Resources Control Board responsibility is regarding the hardware of the levee, and do they have any responsibility for the general condition of the levee? So those 2 questions. We think that will bring clarity not only to the community, but also to water resources staff at the state and local level that might help get some of this maintenance done or ignited. Then the third recommendation is that if you recall, maybe 2 years ago, when Linda first started taking over maintenance of the levee, she shared a levee maintenance schedule, but she didn't really have it to pass out or publish it anywhere. So we were hoping to get a copy of the maintenance responsibility schedule and budget that goes along with that from the county for the levee, and then have it posted on the Worth website so that people have an idea of what the maintenance is and how much it costs. So those are our 3 recommendations for the Worth Board, and we hope you'll take them seriously and take some action.
All right.
And John wants to say one more thing.
I don't know if all the board members remember that some years ago, the county divided what was called the reclamation area, roughly south of Highway 20 and above Highway 20 into two sections. And they let us all vote as to whether we wanted to continue to tax ourselves for maintenance of levees. The people in the south part voted down because they're the deepest in the water, and those are the most expensive levees to maintain, and consequently, we've got the Robinson Slough Restoration Project going on. The people in the north half voted up and continued to tax ourselves a parcel tax to maintain the levees. And so, you know, that money is being generated in this community, and we really ought to be able to see where it's going, how it's being used.
How much is the parcel tax, do you know? I mean, how much do you pay?
Do you know the total, Julia?
So it's a tiered parcel tax depending upon how close to the levee you are or how far away you are. And it's in a zone 8, so it has a zone that are taxed. If you're not in the zone, you're not taxed, like the school district isn't taxed. And that area is also higher, so those homes over there are not taxed. I have parcels that aren't as close as some people's parcels, like Walt's is closer than mine, but you know, we're taxed higher than the people further away. And we're very clear that the tax does not cover the maintenance of the levee at this stage of the game. Just like the North Shore Fire District tax doesn't cover what they need, the levee's the same situation. There's not a percentage. It's just like the North Shore Fire District. It's not a percentage. It's a base rate. I pay, I think, 112 or 120 some odd a year per parcel in the zone along Main Street that faces the levee. But not all of my parcels pay the same amount because some are further away and the line is drawn there. Some people pay 79, some people pay 30 something. It's a very similar setup to the North Shore Fire District.
All right, thanks. All right.
I have a question / comment. So just, I don't know if you all heard this too, but Linda did share with me a couple weeks ago that they did receive one of the grants that they presented to us a couple months ago. They received that grant, and so they will be clearing out a mile of the big loop, the sediment and vegetation, within the next 2 years. So that is a positive development. That she also shared that they are in final negotiations on the Caltrans project. And then I just wanted to ask, I heard you, Julia, share that you were speaking with Thomas, and I respect that, but last month I did ask to be included in communications around the levee, and I will again ask for that to happen as the Upper Lake representative, if I could please join in this conversation and participate in this work. Thank
Sure,
you.
you had asked to be on the levee inspection, and John's aware of that, and we're trying to do that.
I had also asked about the communications when I had told you I was investigating yours.
I didn't hear that, sorry, my apology,
All right,
and Thomas has been in our
Let me comment
discussion.
here about this.
Yeah.
We got to work together on this.
Yeah.
The election's over. Supervisor Crandall's our supervisor, and we now. But this levy system we've been working on for years with Scott DeLeon, who went off into the sunset and never did anything that we, and who else?
Marina Delagian.
Whatever, yeah, she quit.
She was
went
the
off to
deputy
another
director.
place, and everybody has the right to do whatever they want to do, but this has been a long project. So we can work together. The election's over. We think, and we're back to working together and trying to figure out this levy system. I did reach out to Linda after you had talked to me, and she never got back to me about coming to the meeting. So we're going back to no replies, no emails, I mean, I replied to her. I mean, I asked her to come to the meeting and make a comment after you had talked to me, and then she never replied back. So again, we're going to, not replying to me and not giving me any information on if she can make it or not. So if you want to be included, I don't, that's fine with me as a chair, and you can include her in the information. But yeah, let's work together, guys. This is the community. We have to get things done, so.
And we all care and we all want the same results.
Yeah.
Correct.
And regarding the grants, I don't know who has or who hasn't listened to the budget hearings, but when I was up here before, part of the D3 MAC Alliance was to be able to work on grants. I mentioned about possibly looking at grants. There's no money other than whatever grants Water Resources can apply for. They have a new analyst, Stephen, who manages grants and makes sure that the department's in compliance for grants, but he does not write grants. So I want to really encourage, without being in competition with anyone, applications for grants. If the department doesn't have time to apply for all the grants that are available, particularly when it comes to fire mitigation grants, which with this levy, there's a ton of fire mitigation grants available, and it would apply here, as you heard from John. It's a jungle out there. 6 feet is probably the minimum brass height right now, and it's all brown. We need help, and the county doesn't have the money to do the work that needs to be done. And so grants are our only option. And so from my perspective, we really need to be looking at the opportunity for grants. And I think writing who's responsible at the state level for the hardware, where their responsibility begins and ends, where the county's responsibility begins and ends for maintenance, will help determine who can apply for what grants and give us more opportunity for grants, because we really do need them.
Okay.
We need to have this all delineated
I would like to,
explicitly.
yes, and I would like to address the comments that were made just now, and because I also completely agree that we have to work together. And I also, I think it is an unfair assumption or comment to bring out the election, because I don't think that actually played out in this conversation. And I would like to address the fact that relationships are important. And when we talk about the relationships that we as a subcommittee of the county have with county officials, relationships are important. And so the purpose of my push here was that I did say, and I'll go back and watch the video, and if I'm wrong, I will apologize. But the purpose is we cannot work together if there is exclusion. And what I saw tonight, or what I heard tonight, what I felt tonight, was that I had requested to be a part of this, and I was excluded. And so I do just want to make sure that we talk about that, and I hear you, and we do need to work together, but we also need to address the fact that the reason why the county does not, and this has been said, they said it here before, they've said it to individuals, the reason why certain people don't want to come to our meetings is because of how they are treated when they are in the room. So I think we don't need to hash that out deeply tonight, but I think that's a very important point to make, and I think that as someone who has been working with the W.R.T.H for a couple of years and have really tried and will consistently try, not just here, but in every space I am in, to work with people that I am in conflict with, or maybe I don't agree with on everything, I just did not think that the comment that was made was fair to me or the work that I've been doing.
I apologize if it came out the wrong way, but I understand the relationships need to be professional and with everyone in our community, and I agree with that. And if you want to be included in the correspondence, please have Lisa attached to any correspondence that's going on. But the goal here is not us, it's these levies.
Correct.
Keeping them safe, trying to figure out what to do with them, maybe suggest, and getting the participants, Linda, to come here in person and give us an update when she can.
To move the needle.
And respond to me back when I asked, it'd be nice. I've dealt, as you know, I've dealt with them from the beginning of my tenure as chair without response, and in person, they're fantastic, but.
And she did, and there might be some sort of miscommunication, because she did inform me that she reached back out to you, because she reached out to me.
I did reach out to her after talking to you, and I asked her to come to the meeting, but I never got a follow-up on that. Okay. Angela, do you have a comment before we move on?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to bring, I don't know if you guys are aware, a couple weeks ago at the Board of Supervisors, Director W.R.T.H gave an update, and there's talk about discussions going on about taking the levy, taking the state out of the equation, and the state giving oversight back to the county because of the cost that's being incurred at the state level. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware there was a presentation.
Yeah, I didn't see that session, but that was referring to the pump station out here in the Middle Creek?
Yes,
Was
but
that
there's
referring to the
other,
levies?
right, and but there was the pump station, and that was the one big work that they were gonna do, and it was millions of dollars. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys had seen that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that you can go back and watch that portion on the Board of Supervisors. Okay, let's move on to, I don't know, we might want to table this letter to Scotts Valley. Because I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read both versions. Would you guys like to be emailed these for review for next meeting?
We have them here, so can we?
Yeah, but we're
late.
we're late and,
No, I say we'll bring them back next.
bring them back?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring them, but we'll email the letters that were proposed by, originally by Tim and by Jim Still, and then read them if you can, or please read them, and then come back and we'll do an action if necessary. Okay, so Supervisor Crandall, would you like to come up and give us an update?
Watch, the Nice Watch.
What happened? Oh, before that, one moment, Supervisor. Copter, yeah.
Right. So we had our event on last Saturday, and it was interesting. Oh, thanks. So first of all, I'd like to thank the subcommittee members, Robin Aceves, Lisa Benavides, Julia Carrera, Jennifer Denham, and Dave Hendrick, and our what do you call it? Honorary subcommittee member, Thomas Aceves, for all working hard to have this event. And I also want to thank Ray and Mary Fredericks from Bachelor Valley Grange, and Tammy Alexei, she's gone, she's from American Red Cross, Lauren Berlin, the Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer, Rashida Ramos from Lake County Behavioral Health Services, and Solana Women in Medicine for providing the bouncy house, and Clear Lake Gleaners, Bobby Johnson and Friends, Mendocino College, Melissa Donegan, North Shore Fire came with their trucks, their support staff, and their explorers. And Kevin Louise from the Lake County Office of Probation, and Deb Clark and Nicole Gentry from the Vision of Hope Village. And we learned many things during the event. One thing about that we will never be outside again at this time of year.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And hopefully, this is just the beginning, and we have a lot of things to do, and we have a lot of plans. We did get some people to sign up for our neighborhood watch, and we had people actually signed up to get email agendas from Worth as well. So that's a good thing. So that's about all I have to say. Thanks for everyone.
Yeah. I think we got the word out to some participants that came in. It was quite hot. But every time you do these things, it takes a while. It's like branding something over and over and over, and then you eventually start getting, especially with the crime that's happening in Nice right now at the Featherbed and doing this Nice Neighborhoods Watch, trying to get the word out to people to monitor, to call, at least start calling and making action happen, because sometimes people don't want to call because of retaliation,
That's what
or they believe there's retaliation. I have my neighbors call me to call them, and I'm tired of it. Call and get these people, police out there if they can, because we can't let these people take over our neighborhoods. I think I've been talking about that for 2 years, but yeah, so great job.
We're going to continue to talk about it as well.
Yeah, so Supervisor Crandall, thank you.
All right, I have enough percentage so I can read my notes. All right, so one thing I want to touch on is the budget was passed today, and there's been some comments on it, especially from the public that has been following along with us, and that's the whole point of the budgets, is for people to tune in or come to the meetings and give their insight. And it's really helpful. I know Tom and Margot are there, and they give a lot of comment to what's going on and what we should do and what we should look at. I know earlier it was stated that we are in a deficit. We are in a trajectory to be in a deficit, so that's why we have to make numerous amounts of decisions. We have to stop approving specific things. We have to ensure that we do a hiring freeze and look at other measures to avoid getting to that point of the deficit. So in the meantime, we've passed the budget today, and we're going to go through numerous other meetings to ensure that when we come back in September with the budget for the year, we make significant changes there. But everything was passed today, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Code enforcement will be giving a presentation next week, to my understanding, and it will talk about copter and some of those initiatives as well. Let's see. Pawan did state yesterday, or the day before, one of the days that he was at the meeting, giving a presentation on the budget, that Caltrans mitigation project will commence. I think you did mention that, Lisa, earlier, and I don't know if anyone was following along and heard that there is going to be a masticator that's being purchased too, so we know that that's going to be a big help and probably going to take care of some of the things that need to be. Also, the not lot line adjustment, the actual lease should be brought back. They were going to try and do it without the county, but not the county, but the board, but they have to bring it back to us because we approved it. So that probably would have been done, but they need to bring it to us first. So that's going to be coming back as well. It should have been a long time ago, but I think they assumed that they were able to do it without the board, but considering we approved it, we would have to undo it as well. The stop sign in Upper Lake, Department of Public Works got the ordinance back today, so be looking for that to come onto the agenda, along with other things that need to be on the agenda, like the rent stabilization ordinance. All of these things are ready. We just need time slots on the agendas for the near future. And I wanted to have rent stabilization Tuesday. Bruno will not be here. So yeah, he said I could push it forward, but again, I think it would be important to have him there, because since he's been working on it with us. And since we've got it back, there's a couple of things that I know Bruno and myself have looked at, and they're missing some components that I think you wouldn't want to be missing either. So in a way, I wanted it sooner, but I know that if we bring it, it's not going to have what I think you would like to see in it. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, so it won't be next week for sure, because Bruno's not here, and I don't want to bring it not ready. It's missing one key component that I think is important, and it doesn't necessarily, because you're talking about going backwards, right? You want to see, what do they call that? Retroactive, yes. And so I want to make sure that's addressed. And as of right now, not with what's given to us, and it should have been, yes. So that's the key component. Yes, it is. And so that's why I don't want to bring it forward without that component to it. So we'll leave it there. Dump days. The dump days, Upper Lake will be the first. I'm working on dates with Michelle Goodman at Lake Waste, CNS Waste. Yeah. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but some of the Nice roads have been paved. So that's a good thing, right? And so what will happen next is they will, I know they paved them initially, but just like Robin Slough, they're going to come back and do some more work on top of it to improve it. So that's good news. We'll look to see how much more is going to be done as well, but that's important. The Potter Valley project, there'll be some scoping meetings coming up here next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Comments need to be submitted by the 24th of July, and if you're going to submit something, include docket number P-770332. They hosted a meeting, they being the White House, hosted a meeting between PG&E and Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, who's interested in purchasing, and so from what I understand, reading the article, that's basically what took place. I don't know what came out of it, but I know that they had a meeting. So continuing to move forward on that. We did meet previously to that. I met with, it's interesting that I get to be on a call with the actual Secretary of Agriculture, you know, on last Friday to prepare for that meeting, and we gave our insight and went over some strategies. Let's see. I did say that the ordinance for the Middle Creek stop sign will be coming forward. All right. And let's see. Yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have.
Supervisor,
Yeah.
what was that document number?
P-770332.
332. Okay, thank you.
EJ, on the Nice roads, I know I called Lucy they said July. I know they're doing patchwork, and we talked about this a little bit last weekend. Are they supposed to do more overlay on that, on the Nice roads than they're doing now, or
Yeah, there should be more. That shouldn't be the complete.
they're just waiting for time frame and?
Yes, and I know that we had to push back Lars's presentation on the road improvement plan.
Yeah.
So I know that still has more to come. I mean, it was on the agenda for, I want to say, early May, and then for one of those meetings, we ended up pushing it back. So that'll be coming back.
Great.
Yeah.
EJ, just a quick question. Maybe this flew by me. When you were talking about the lease, are you referring to the biochar?
Yes.
Okay, so it
Yeah.
has not come.
It has not come back. From what I understand, the Water Resources Department thought they can just eliminate it, which, I mean, I'd be glad that it would happen, yes, but it has to come before us to
So it officially has to come back to the
yes,
board then?
so that we can terminate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any
Which
time frame on that, or you don't know?
It should be this month as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
She had her hand up first.
You need a microphone, let's get up, yeah. Thanks, guys.
So when you and Bruno had submitted the last RSO to council, did you have the retroactive part
Well,
on
we had a
there?
component of that.
And council removed it?
They either removed it or they just didn't add it or something like that. Because we took back the red line and had it included there as well, so, yes.
What does the red line mean? That there's
So
there's
we
F-
turn one
part?
in, they red line it, give it back.
Uh-huh.
This was supposed to be the final version. Well, we got the final version, it doesn't have it in there, so we're like, wait.
Okay.
So either he has it and didn't put it in there, or, yeah.
Okay,
But
so yeah, it really, I mean, don't know how all this is really supposed to work, but if it goes on the agenda as is, then there's no going back, and is that correct?
Yeah,
Which case-
well, you wouldn't want it to go this
No.
week, yeah, without Bruno here either.
Yeah, well, I don't want it to go without all the components that
Right.
we've talked about for,
Well, and that
8
was the
months.
point we told county council as well. We want to be finished and ready. And for whatever reason, it's not included the way that we submitted it, so.
okay, well, it doesn't matter how long we wait as long as they include everything.
Well, I don't want to wait any longer.
Well, I don't
for
want to
you
answer
guys,
either,
know,
but I
'cause-
mean, I don't want to wait that much longer either, and
Because
my-
you guys will keep coming, and you have every right to keep coming, and it's not right for us to not have it forward, like we said, so.
Correct. Well, the other question I have about this is, you did get the email about if you need the Gizmo lawyer that normally costs money, you have it for free.
I was so glad to get that email, and
Okay,
I'll probably
so-
be giving him a call tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Julia.
Supervisor, with regard to Lake Pillsbury, do you feel, before you and Bruno felt that Lake County wasn't being heard, that you were left out of the conversation and not at the table, with the call that you got from Secretary Rollins and what's happening now, do you feel that Lake County is being heard and is more at the table or is at the table?
And yes, I guess you could say yes, with them coming out and helping us, yeah.
Do you feel that there needs to be more with regard to Lake County? Because when you read the papers, Lake County's never mentioned, and not that they should be or shouldn't be, but it just appears that they're still left out if you're just reading the paper articles. So I wanted to understand from you how you felt about them including Lake County at the table in the decision-making process.
And if you think about the actual articles that you're reading, they're favored heavily by that group. So
Right.
of course they're not going to make it sound that way, but because for whatever reason, the connections that Keeley has and Dr. Brazil have put us in this position where we're actually heard by at least the federal government. We know what that's about. Federal government wants to basically have this conflict with the state because the state obviously wants to tear down the dam. So we've kind of just are lucked out that there's that conflict. So it's been able to get us some traction. So taking advantage of that fully, you know, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of sometimes what has to happen. And for our community, we got to do what we have to.
Right. So I hope that we can continue to be in that conversation and Lake County can continue to have a voice and some kind of influence over what's happening. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
All right, one more. Ray?
Good evening. I was in two spots over the weekend and I noticed our beacon lights on Highway 20. Push the button, they go off. Well, we were over here on Government Street and they started going off by themselves. Nobody around. And then we went to Nice, and the one there across from the Chevron gas station by Wino's motorcycle, it went off by itself, no one around. So I know you had influence on getting them. Who checks those, Caltrans?
Caltrans, yes.
Yeah.
We'll reach
Because,
out
I
to
mean, it stopped a whole line of traffic over in Nice.
I seen it today.
So-
It happened in right across from Dollar General.
Well,
Might be,
Or right
yeah, maybe the heat or some, I like it doing that, to be honest with you, because it calms the traffic down. Slows it
Yeah.
down. I don't
Yeah,
mind
but-
them going off. I've seen them go off ghosts, walking by, I'm going, okay. And then I see people walk constantly across Nice without using them. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's common sense, it's your own safety if you want to, but I think anything calming traffic down is nice to have. I know they're malfunctioning probably, but,
Well, we got to fix them though, because eventually people will start just not stopping because they don't see
Yeah.
anybody. So we'll make sure to get in touch with Caltrans. Manny, is that the same guy you talked to, Manny Machado?
yeah, Manny's one of them,
Yeah.
but another guy I was trying to get a hold of course, he didn't respond to me either. So I'm not having
Thomas
luck.
is big. He
We
has
might-
good
we might
connections
need
with
some sort
Caltrans
of-
as well.
We might need some sort of education program to encourage people to use the crosswalks instead of crossing 3 feet away
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I know you've had a lot of 3 days of, I've watched a lot of it, and it's like a lot to take in. I know we're challenged in this county right now, and so, okay, so any new business?
I will bring this up at next meeting. I asked when behavioral health was here about an emergency card, and the woman sent up her own business card. But I worked for the county in the 80s, and we created an emergency card that's laminated with all the resources on it. And I would like to propose that we do the same. Of course, everything has to be updated, but it was very handy. I used it myself a number of
Okay, we
times.
can
So,
have that.
yeah, I'd like to have that
Okay.
looked at.
Okay.
Oh, hang on.
If you'd like, Claudine, I can email you an updated resource list that I have that I've been passing out that might help with that situation and make it easier for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so next Worth meeting is going to be July 15th. I have a person from, talking about Scotts Valley, I don't have the memo here.
To meet, to get together with them?
Yeah, a presentation, and then we'll put the other things as well on there. And next Worth meeting, and then motion to adjourn?
One last thing. Lori wants to say something?
Lori, you want to make a comment?
I
I do. I just wanted to bring some awareness. I am trying to work on a couple of initiatives, and I'm hoping that people will join me. You know, I've always talked about this over and over again in our communities, that we have people that abuse our elders. They work with them, and it's really becoming rampant. What I'm finding out is that people are trying to, well, you know, we need IHSS workers, or somebody is down, or they need some assistance. And then somebody goes in and they're working with the individual, and they start to take advantage of them without them even knowing it. Sometimes it's taking a wallet, taking a credit card, stealing a little money here and there, taking advantage of the person's mental health, behavior health. And so I am hoping that futuristically, I'd like to bring back maybe some sign-up sheets, and we maybe engage in more community safety talk about how to keep people safe, what to do when you encounter someone who has taken advantage of you or not represented themselves truthfully when they're coming to work for you for IHSS. I'm very passionate about this. My mother, we hired someone to take care of her, and I was running back and forth between here and the Bay Area. And that person took advantage of my mother. They took her credit card, they took her checkbook, they signed checks, and they all said with her permission, which was not true. So I'm very, very, very passionate, and I just think that, you know, we're talking about safety, and I notice that there's a lot of people on the street. I also want to warn people that maybe we need to start looking at organizations too. You know, sometimes you think a Google search, but like really knowing if your nonprofit is a charitable organization and they're registered at the registry, checking out to make sure their taxes are done, making sure that they have not had other issues in other communities and elsewhere, looking at their background, because it's just important that we do those things to keep ourselves safe in the community. So I just wanted to bring that awareness, and that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, anything else?
Go ahead.
Oh,
So Kate's not here, so Kate will be having us working 5 or 6 in the morning. And food giveaway at Nice Event Center.
Food distribution.
Food distribution, I stand corrected. And so 8 to 10, and maybe tell your neighbors that might be needy, or you can come by and get a bag for them and get them signed up. So just something to think about. After our town hall meetings, we always have the next morning.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's right.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you very much.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hey, thanks everybody for tonight. I appreciate it so much.